How's it going, everybody? Today we fitting to talk about the Meg. That's right. Get your swimsuit on, your swim trunks, your water shoes, boogie board, all that good stuff. Get it all in the water because we're gonna talk about all the things. Jason Statham, underwater submarines. I guess that underwater part's included because we're talking about submarine. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Naval stations, all that good stuff. So if you want to hear what we have to say, sit back and relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and listen on in to the first ones to die.
Hey everyone, welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. My name is Jonathan. I'm here with Alex and Jerome. How are you both doing today? Jerome, how you doing?
Doing good. No, excuse me, burping. Vegan Thai food. Doing good, chilling. I'm reading. Currently, I just picked up the whole collection, the whole thing. I found it in one Barnes & Noble, and I bought the whole thing. So anybody who's a She-Hulk fan, I'm sorry, but it was me. I bought all three of the She-Hulk run by Rainbow Rowell. It's amazing. I love this run of She-Hulk. It's like reading a really cute rom-com starring She-Hulk. It's great. I love it. I'm also currently giving the side eye to Netflix. Not just because the price changes, but also because the trailer for one Good Times came out, or rather, not so good times, because the show looks bad. For those who don't know, back in the 70s, a sitcom came out by the name of Good Times. The idea being that it was supposed to be a sitcom centered around a black family living in the quote unquote the ghetto, and trying to make their way up, especially because there's James and Florida, who are the parental figures in the family, and then their children, JJ, Thelma, and Michael, are aspiring to do big things. Like Michael wants to go into politics, JJ is trying to be a big artist, and Thelma is trying to be a nurse. So they all have aspirations to do more than what life has told them they are able to do, given their current
they turned
financial
them into
situation.
a cartoon?
The cartoon, so now, brought to you by executive producers Seth MacFarlane and Steph Curry, of all people, is
the most
cartoon.
Random duo award goes to.
Yeah, and the original, quote-unquote, original creator of Good Times, Norman Lear, who really, there's implications he stole the idea, but anyway, have brought to you a new, not even version of Good Times, just a requel, because it's like a reboot and a sequel, where now the great grandson of the Evans family is now still living in the ghetto, trying to make it out here with his ratchet ass family. But the difference is that unlike the original Good Times, which felt like it had something to say and was trying to prop up the black community, the trailer makes it seem like this is doing nothing but bringing the black community down. Granted, it has a stellar cast. You got J.B. Smoove, Yvette Nicole Brown, Slink Johnson, all these black comedians and black actors and actresses are in it. But the black community has collectively said, no, we reject your reality and substitute our own. And rightfully so, because nobody asked for this. Nobody has been around talking about you know what we need? More Good Times. It's no, we don't need no more Good Times. We have the show. It's over. That'd be if somebody tried to bring back the Jeffersons or 227. It's those shows exist in their time. Let them be in their time.
What's wrong with just making a new cartoon about a black family?
Well, that's
calling it something else.
That's my thing too, and I think the thing that upsets me the most is that this show is so removed from Good Times. Why is it called that? It could have been called anything else. It's just like Velma all over again. That show has nothing to do with Scooby-Doo and has no right even putting Scooby-Doo in the equation. So
They
why
don't
not
even
just
put
call it
Scooby-Doo in
something
the
else?
equation. The
Right,
dog's not
the
there.
damn dog's not in the show.
They want the name recognition.
Right, they just want the name recognition so they can sell it. But all they've done is piss off everybody who has a lot of respect for that show, including but not limited to pretty much everyone in the Black community who's ever seen Good Times or at the very least knows its significance. But much like Velma, I will give the show a chance to redeem itself because this is a trailer. Like I've seen bad trailers to things, but then like the product is actually pretty good. So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe it's just a bad trailer, but the show itself is actually like decent. We will see.
I watched a couple episodes of Velma. I wasn't, horrified.
I watched all of Velma, and it does get better halfway through, but it's far too late by that point. Also, we've lost Alex.
We did.
No! Well, while we're in commercial break, subscribe to the First Ones to Die podcast. I don't know if this will make it to the final cut of the actual video, but in case it does, feel free to subscribe, audience, and also favorite, like, and share. She said, "Give you a sec, keep talking." Okay, so yes, so favorite, like, and share. Comment below if you saw the trailer for Good Times and if you're not feeling it as well, because you shouldn't be. But but other than that, other thing I did this week, also I watched The Iron Claw, and it was very sad, but well acted. Although I do understand though why it wasn't like nominated for like Best Picture and stuff, because it starts really strong. Really great start. First of all the performances are amazing. Zac Efron is great as Kevin Von Erich. He's amazing, but everybody does great also because Jeremy Allen White is also amazing. But the show starts out really strong, really good, and then it feels like, and I wonder if it's out of respect for the family because it's a lot of tragedy. They didn't even, because mind you, they don't even have another brother in there because there's 5 brothers, and so another one, and they did completely fuse 2 together in the movie. But I'm like, I wonder if out of respect for the family and what happened, they really don't like go into details of like how the tragedies happen as far as like the buildup.
Wait. No spoilers because I want to watch it.
I won't spoil it for you, but it's just, I already told you, we already talked about this a while back and a few episodes back, but that the Iron Claw is a very sad story about the Von Erich family. But like the sad parts of it, that is like, and not that you go there to see that, you go there to see the family and to honor this family that unfortunately had a lot of bad stuff happen to them. But it's just that like the tragedy stuff, and I'm sure it's out of respect for the family because they don't want to wallow in it, they don't want to like glorify this terrible stuff. But at the same time, I feel like it's just they just speed past it so fast that it kind of gives you whiplash a little bit with how fast it goes through on the back end of like back to back to back. And maybe like, so it's either that it was out of respect for the family, or maybe it was just to give the effect of what it felt like to be a part of that family and to have this stuff happen like back to back. Because like, and I only say it that way because I watched a little documentary made by Vice.com about the Von Erichs. It's on YouTube, and you can look it up if you want to hear about the real story, where they interviewed Kevin Von Erich and some other people who were in the know about the situation. And it doesn't seem like it happened like that frequent, like back to back to back to back like that, like it is in the movie. But for the sake of time, they crunch it down. So I don't know. I feel like that the second half of the movie kind of just rushes through a lot of stuff to get to the ending. But still, it's still a really strong movie, really emotional. I hope Zac Efron's okay.
Yeah. Is it on HBO? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I watched it on YouTube. I rented it. I don't think it's streaming yet. But it's a really good movie. It was worth the $5 I paid on YouTube to rent it and watch it. And Man, it was like, yeah, and it's a very emotional movie. I would say if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts or anything like that, maybe take a sec before you watch it, just because that's a big part of it. So just know, like, I just a fair warning to those that want to watch The Iron Claw. That's a big part of the story. So, um, but other than that, it's been a pretty okay week. Nothing else to really report.
Nice.
I think it was my
Alex.
computer.
Oh.
So I had to switch to the laptop. But I'm still recording, I think. Yeah, no, I'm
All
good.
right.
Yeah.
Well, since you popped back in, how was your week?
You can see Cheddar's head in the corner.
My week has been, it's been fine. Went to a friend's party, just enjoyed that. Hung out with my sister for a little bit during the weekend, and it was nice. Didn't do too much. I went to the Fremont Market. I got this beautiful Peruvian blanket that's made out of like Peruvian alpaca fur. It's so soft. Cheddar, I would show you guys, but Cheddar has currently claimed it again. Because I did get another, I like a couple years ago when I first got them, I had gotten a blanket from the same person who made them, and he claimed it. And because he was an orphan before bringing him into my home, I felt bad about like taking it from him. Now I'm definitely going to take it back. I don't care. He's entitled and fat now. But other than that, no, I've been good. It's been a pretty slow week, which has been nice. Still dealing with my car, but I'm finally looking at other cars now. I'm giving it proper attention that I've been avoiding for a while, and now it's kind of come to the acceptance of I really need to look for a new car. I can't keep avoiding it, so I'm at that place with it. But other than that, yeah, nothing. How about you, Jonathan? Or did you guys do Jonathan while I was gone?
We talked about the Iron Claw. Jerome was talking about it.
Okay.
Because he watched it.
Is that the one with Zac Efron?
Mm-hmm.
That's like more emotional than people thought it would be, or
yeah, which I want to watch it. So I'm gonna have to. I might wait till it comes out on wherever. I don't know if it comes out on wherever at some point. But my week was good. The last couple weeks have been like pretty standard, I guess. The weekend, I guess a week from yesterday, because we haven't met for like a week and some change. I saw, and for some reason, I watched this on Easter. I watched Late Night with the Devil on Easter, and
I've heard it's good.
it was really good. Oh my gosh,
is that
Alex,
the one at the like they're interviewing, or it's a late night show?
Yes, Alex, I think you would
that.
really like it. I think you would really like it. Yeah, I had never pretty much all of the cast. I don't think I've ever seen in anything else. Even though the main guy, I know he does a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the movie was really good. It's basically like an event happens on live late night television in the 1970s. I think it's the 70s. And you're kind of watching like the live show, the archived footage of the live show. And it's really cool. It's a really unique movie, I think. Yeah. And then Saturday, I saw another movie that I thought was really. Wait. Okay. Wait. I can't. I just looked at our calendar. We're talking about it soon. So spoiler for whatever movie we're talking about soon. I liked it. And I'll just leave you with that. And that's about it. This weekend is Coachella weekend. I will be going and I'm really excited about it. I literally just got my clothes, some of my clothes that I'm going to be wearing. I bought some new clothes online. I did not realize this when I ordered them, but the company is based in London, so the clothes were coming from London. So when I got the shipment tracking information, it said that it was going to be here the day I'm supposed to leave. And I'm like, what good is that? But this weekend, it said they were in Los Angeles. So thankfully, I was able to get them delivered today. So I'm excited about that. After we get off here, I might do a little bit of a try on.
Right on.
Good. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good idea.
Thinking movies, last thing. Also, Maxine trailer came out. I'm super excited.
I still haven't seen X or Pearl, and I want to watch those.
Maxine. I didn't know they
Yeah.
were making a third one.
Yeah, this one is supposed to be the actual sequel to X. Pearl is a prequel. So this one is the actual sequel to Maxine. It looks interesting. I love that this time around, the Night Stalker is a part of the story. It's hard to tell from the trailer in what capacity, because I mean, Maxine's already got her own stuff going on because of the aftermath of X. So it's not really clear, but I think that's a cool element to include, because the story takes place in, I think, like 1989 or something like that. So I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, the Night Stalker killer. So it's interesting to kind of rope that into like the horror element of what's going on, and especially Maxine being an actress. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. It looks good, and I'm excited for this to be kind of like I think it's supposed to be the last one of that series of films from Ty West.
I mean, I will say, yeah, X and Pearl were real. I liked X more than Pearl. Pearl sometimes just was like too weird for me.
Please,
Like,
I'm a star.
Yeah, I was
I'm a
like, that's like
star.
cringy weird. Like I don't know, like yeah. But yeah, I did really like X. I thought it was really good. So it's gonna be interesting that they're gonna have a sequel for it. They're just gonna have that poor girl running from serial killers the rest of her life.
Well, speaking of movies with sequels, this week we're going to be reviewing
so many other movies.
That was
Ow.
you could do. Did you just hit your nose on your mic?
No, on my pop filter. Little like screw on my pop filter.
We're talking about The Meg. That is right. This is the film that Alex has chosen for us to watch and review after winning trivia. What is it? 12?
9.
Trivia 9.
12? Wait, you gone forward in time?
It's because I'm watching Big Brother Canada 12. She won Trivia 9. Therefore, you know the deal. We get to do, the winner gets to choose a retro review that we do. And this time, in keeping with the theme of sharks for all the movies she's chosen The Meg. It is the film starring Jason Statham about a group of scientists who encounter a 75-foot-long megalodon shark while on a rescue mission on the floor of the Pacific Ocean. The movie came out in 2018, and I specifically remember when you watched this movie, Alex, because you were hyping up what was it? Is it
40X?
40X? Yep, 40X of it all.
Yeah, this was the first movie I saw on 40X, and it made me like. I like the experience of it, and plus, I'm a big fan of the ocean. I love the ocean. I watched too many documentaries on the ocean, although I'm still reeling after that cranberry documentary of harvesting them. Anyway, and the spiders. So it was really fun to go, and again, of course, everybody knows I love sharks. So going to go see that in 40X and getting to feel that splash of water every time they dove into the water, although that was a lot more than I expected. I don't know why. Because you see the trailer and they're like inside their port or substation. So you're like, there's not going to be much water. No, they jump in a lot. They got splashed in the face and all the moving around. It was a fun experience. And then I also saw the Meg 2 with Jerome in the 40X.
Are they making a third one? I have to know.
I don't know. I mean, the Meg 2 didn't make as much money as the first one, so I'm not sure. Plus, the first one's based off a book, so like
the second one is too.
Is it? Okay.
I think I meant to read it, and I actually borrowed it from the library. Did not ever get to it. I should get to it. I love reading the books and seeing how different they are from the movies. It's always seeing what key elements they always want to keep for the film or what they think is important.
Well, there is a prequel book, Meg Origins, so maybe they'll do a prequel.
That'll probably be next. It says in July 2023, Wheatley stated there had been internal discussions about a potential third installment. While its development depends on the success of The Trench, which already came out, he hopes to continue the story as outlined in the novels by Steve Alton.
Yeah, The Trench apparently is the first sequel, and then there's 6 more books. I don't know what order they're in, but there's a lot of them, so they've got a lot of material.
Well, because even in the end of The Trench, the second book, the Megalodons mate, and they like now there's a Megalodon who's pregnant, so there's a chance to repopulate with little baby Megalodons.
It said it was a box office success, grossing over $397 million worldwide.
Okay,
so there will probably be a third one.
Okay, cool.
Well, studios have been running out of ideas, so it doesn't matter how much movie we'll make. They will. I mean, Fast and the Furious is a good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
I was for audience, if you've never heard any of our retro reviews before, we just dive on in. We assume you've seen the movie, you know all the stuff. We might even throw in some fun facts about how this movie was made and other things. So if you want to know, if you know nothing about the Meg and you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it. But pause this and then come back and get you this podcast.
And audience, if you either haven't seen it or want to watch it again, it's on Netflix, but it's leaving April 22nd. They made that very clear to me multiple times while I was watching this movie. It was like up in the corner. I'm like, I'm watching the movie. Why do you have to remind me that it's leaving in like
just
2
so
weeks?
You don't know it's leaving at April 22nd. Okay, bye. 5 minutes later. Okay, but just so you know, Jonathan, if you want to continue to watch this movie, April 22nd, just remember that date. 2/2/4/22. Okay. All right.
They just,
you know what 2 and 2 makes? 4. And you know what happens on April 22nd? This movie's going to leave Netflix, just so you know. So, all right, cool. Bye. Enjoy your movie. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It would have been funny if they had like a little shark swim across the screen.
Like a Fox movie.
Yeah.
Like 2 broke girls. Also airing on Netflix. And you know what 2 plus 2 makes? 4. So if you check out on April 22nd.
But the sequel is up there. And it
is,
didn't show any leaving soon notice. So you have time to watch the sequel if you missed the first one. But what did everybody think? Jerome, was this your first time watching the Meg?
Oh no, I've seen it. I saw it when it came out. Me and my dad watched it, I think at home, like on DVR or something. But I mean it was fun then. It's still fun now. And maybe it's just because it's based off a really good book. It's like, but it's actually a lot of fun. It's it knows what it is. It's a movie that knows what it is. It does not take itself too seriously, especially with the I love how this movie is like on the cusp of being sci-fi without being sci-fi. Like it's not like anyone pulls out laser guns or nothing, or like has like has like a yeah, or it's not like Atlantis where they have like a submarine that would never exist in the history of man. But they have like the submarines are just enough like where they are based off real science, but just enough like a little ahead of where modern technology is that they can still have a sci-fi-ish element to them that makes the movie kind of interesting. And even though science are playing with the idea that there's like at the bottom of the Marianas Trench is like a kind of like instead of a floor, it's a pocket of just like condensed air that's blocking the hot air, like the hot water underneath from the cold water that's just above that we now frequent. And it's stuff like, and that's what those are some of my favorite sci-fi stuff, the stuff that takes like science, and tweaks it just a little, just not by much, just a little bit to make its world fleshed out a little bit more. Reminds me of like Last of Us, for example, where like the zombies in that, or the infected rather in that video game, it's like, yeah, it's nothing major. Like, it's not like we made up some fake disease or some fake experimental gas that came out from like a super secret lab or whatever. It's like, no, you know that disease that ants have? It just evolved that fungus evolved to affect humans. That's it. And there we go. There's our premise. Go. It's like it's like wow, that's actually kind of interesting and totally believable that a fungus could evolve maybe to do something like that. So in the same way, I think that's really neat, the ideas of how the science works in this movie, and how all the technology works, because it actually works pretty much like our technology. It's just a little more advanced, which is the best way to do this type of premise, I think.
Alex, what was it like rewatching, and how many times have you rewatched this movie?
I've only rewatched it a few times. I think this was like the fourth time, technically, for me. I love the Meg. I think it's entertaining. It's fun. You're right. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It does have some heavier elements because there's people who pass away, get eaten and stuff. And I like how they touch on that. They're like, yeah, this is important to us because these were our friends. They gave their lives, one to either save us or two to further this experiment we're trying to do, trying to figure out what's at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And like you said, Jerome, I like how they talked about that because when originally they did get to the Mariana Trench in real life, they didn't actually sit on the ground. They just kind of floated on top of it. And so it's the idea of, there's all the mixture of the ocean along with gases and heat ventilation, everything creating a fake bottom to lead to a whole world of like new exploration is just really interesting, really cool to think about. Like I said, I love learning stuff about the ocean, finding out new creatures and things, and all the weird stuff that goes. The further you go down, the creepier it gets. Although I will
there's
say,
a whole world down there that we still haven't explored. Of just, although I did watch this one documentary about the ocean, where they were discovering that I forget what it was called, but it was basically finding creatures that are in the depths of the ocean, the darkest parts of the ocean. Really interesting. There's one part at the end though where they're like, who knows what else we'll find down there, and they make a fake like underwater civilization using CG to meet the submarine. And I'm like, okay, this was a documentary until you started going science fiction on me.
Until you created Atlantis. Yeah.
Right, you created a whole other. Why would you do that? This is a documentary filled with facts. I get what you're going for. You don't need to visualize it by making up a world where we've had nothing but real footage the entire movie till this point.
And all the real footage is insane too.
They say we know more about space than we do the ocean.
That's technically true because we keep discovering new species on there, new bacteria to new bacterias and new microorganisms to like they find the giant squids and stuff like that, and it's like, what the hell is down there? Because we can only go so far because of the pressure.
Yeah, humans can only go so far. Like who was it? Was it James Cameron?
Which is still weird. He is one of the ones who went down to Mariana Trench.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if we did find Atlanteans or something, like a whole civilization down there? No, what happened?
I'd be
all the white people would be like, we claim this land now, we discovered it.
I was gonna, yes, probably, but I was also gonna go the more scientific route of like they would never be able to come up to the surface because their bodies are so used to the pressure that they couldn't like handle coming up. I was going to go more sciencey, but both are right. Both are right. Historical and science, let's be honest.
What's that fear of like large things in the ocean? Here, I'm going to search that. Oh, it's megalohydrothalassalophobia. Fear of large underwater creatures or objects. Okay, it was.
I was thinking of like megalophobia, which is like just a fear of big things. There's an actual fear of just giant things in the ocean.
Yes. Megalohydrothalassalophobia, fear of large underwater creatures or objects. And this was trending on TikTok, at least on my TikTok, like a few months ago, where it would just be that that audio where it's like, oh,
like of the North Sea. Were you getting those videos of the North Sea? They were everywhere over my For You page for some reason. Just like, but no, I think a great example of that megalophobia, what you said is the Sea Beast with Carl Urban on Netflix, when they're floating in the ocean, the two characters, the little girl and the guy, and there's that sea monster, and he just slowly disappears into the darkness of the ocean. That shit can definitely, like, if I see something like that, I'm like, yeah, all right,
Uh-huh.
Especially
whatever.
because it's just like,
Or
I could eat your ass right now.
Yeah,
Nobody
swallow
would
you
know.
whole. And he just the way they made him just vanish into the darkness is like, yeah, yeah, I could see that. I could see like a normal, just a fish doing that to me.
or
See,
like
that's
or
to
like
me the scariest thing about the
shipwrecks
ocean
or stuff.
is like the
I'm
distance.
yeah. I would be freaked out if I was like doing scuba diving. I wouldn't want to see like a shipwreck if I was paying money to do a scuba diving. I wouldn't want to see a shipwreck because I feel like that's a little, I don't know, not only bad juju, but it's just like terrifying with, how big it is, and you're just seeing it right there. You're just seeing the whole ship wrecked.
See, my first thought is just that there's sharks in there. They're
That
nesting.
too.
They're waiting for someone to be
They're
stupid enough.
waiting for
Like,
you.
ooh, I'm gonna just go in the shower now on lunch now. Ah!
See, I want to swim with the sharks. That is like literally a dream of mine, is to go swimming with the sharks. I would love to be, and I don't want to be in a cage. I want to be one of the free floaters, the sharks. I don't care if I get eaten. If a shark
You
starts
should
to
care.
actually no, if
You
a shark
should care
attacks me in
deeply.
the water, nobody should absolutely harm it at all. It's just doing what it's supposed to be doing. I am in its habitat. It has every right to eat my ass. I'm diving in there. Somebody's throwing chum around me to attract them. That's my doing. The shark should not be harmed for my doings.
So I'm always intrigued whenever there are these shark movies. Like, are we supposed to be on the side of the shark, or are we supposed to be on the side of the humans? Because for this movie, we were meant to be on the side of the humans, because they were like, kill the shark, the shark's gotta die. But in a lot of movies, it's like Sea Beast or whatever. Like the creature, is just minding its own business, and we're the ones who are invading its space.
See, no. Sea Beast is different. Sea Beast, that creature is not bothering nobody. Okay, they went out of their way to go hunt down the Sea Beast, and so it's like the Sea Beast is clearly the good guy. Here,
Shark,
that
no,
megalodon stared at that little girl for multiple minutes, just looking at
he
her,
was trying
like,
to figure out
like,
what
and then
like,
just
why was that
decided
fish
he
so
got
tiny?
upset. I guess he was trying. He's like, "Excuse me, it's a little cold in this water. Can I go inside, get a jacket real quick? Oh, you just gonna ignore me? Okay." He was trying to eat her ass. She didn't do anything. All she just do it. She didn't even move. She just stood there staring at him. So there's no excuses of, well, she was splashing around and that provoked him. No, she just stood there.
She looked like a
like
fish to
3
him.
feet of her, and he decided, I'm gonna attack it.
First of all, it had nothing to do with the little girl, although I think she probably looked like a fish to him. It had to do with all the lights, because he was in darkness, and any bioluminescent was like attraction, and be like, all right, that's food. So here was this like little thing moving around in this well-lit ball.
She didn't move. She stood there because she was frozen with fear. She
froze. Moved, and she had a little flashing toy too. I'm just saying, Megalodon was doing what a Megalodon does, and it's eating and being an apex predator. And again, we are in its waters. They brought it up.
His waters is down at the bottom in the Marianas Trench. He's invading.
Did he get up to our
waters?
How did he get up to the waters? Because we invaded
We
first.
invaded there.
Now that is true. When they were down there, they deserved to get their ass ate. They didn't need to be down there.
And then they created a whole ass tunnel for the Megalodon to be like, oh, okay, I'm following you guys.
But how did the Megalodon?
That's where he's wrong. All right, because listen, if you see an emergency exit door open, that doesn't mean you just walk through. It's the emergency exit for a reason. There's no emergency, so he should have stayed his ass down there. He would have still been alive to this day.
But how did the Megalodon survive? Because they were talking about the temperature of the water. Like the Megalodon is.
Sharks in general don't actually travel very far into the water because it's cold. In fact, they'll actually get sleepy when they go too far into cold water. So that's why the Megalodon kind of stayed at the surface all the time, because the water's warmer at the surface. Although I don't think it was warm enough compared to like where he was to where the water is up there. But that's why he stays towards the surface, so he stays warmer up here. That's what like all sharks do.
Yeah, that's why the fin sticks out.
Yeah, all the time. Which people should have enough warning. There's a fin in the water. Dolphins are worse than sharks. So you see a dolphin fin or a shark fin, get out of the water. I feel like it's not that hard. The fault of the people.
But I feel like I was kind of hopeful that it would have a happy ending. You know, the people would be happy and the shark would get to live free and swim free. Because, well, one, I knew there was a sequel. Two, like when the Meg is approaching the beach, she could have easily swallowed up that whole crowd whole, but she didn't. She showed restraint. And I felt like that was the save.
She was looking at the menu. She was trying to pick her options. She was trying to, she was like, there's a lot of number 4s up there, but I'm feeling like a number 5 today. And that number 7 look good. Shoot, you know what, man? Fuck it. I'll take the whole menu. She was out here picking choices. She was making choices. Is what she was doing.
Well, this was a new food source for her. She had to make sure she knew what she was getting.
Right, and she took pity on the dog. See,
that's the confusing thing, and I wonder if there's a cut scene because I think there was I at least maybe I'm making this up. I remember there distinctly being a scene of why the shark does not eat the dog, outside of it just cuts. And then the dog's just fine.
It's because the sharks sense the motion of the water. Because of PETA.
They cut the scene.
No, it's because the dog's not doing enough motion. It's such a small dog compared to the waves in the water. The dog's not making enough motion for the shark to care. It has all these people kicking, jumping, creating literal waves in the water. So it's like, that's definitely a bigger fish for me to eat other than like what is most likely a stick in the water. What's going on compared to like all that stuff that she probably sensed it as like, it's like a duck or something. I don't know. There's like a whole big octopus over here.
She's like, I could have this little mint or I could have this big old
whole
steak.
5-course meal. You know yeah. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner all wrapped in one. Come back, get seconds.
That was like the whole thing. Yeah, the water, the vibrations of the water. And she's like, nah. And the little dog was fine. She didn't really take pity. She was just like,
I love that dog because like the lady's like, Pippin, and she stays screaming at that dog. That dog is staying swimming away. I'm like, he's trying to escape. I'm sure he's like, I'm trying to get the hell up out of here. I'm sick of this. All right, you don't feed me enough anyway. Now you don't get married. You're gonna get distracted with your man. Nah, I ain't having it. I'm leaving. Second he saw that
dog's like, I'll risk it all.
No, at least I'm getting fed, not being the one being fed to other people. I'm out. This is like, wait, come back. Stop the boat. Back the boat up so I can catch it. I got little legs. Somebody help.
Dog was cute.
I love all the animals in this because the humpback whale is the same way, where the Meg tries to bite the little girl, and then he leaves or she leaves, and then the whale comes up and is steady knocking on the window, and Joe's like, "Oh, it's just a whale." And I feel like the whale was like, "No, bitch, open the window! I need to get in. There's a whole shark out here. Help me!" And just got ate. And then the very next scene, what's her name? Friggin' what's her name? Su Yen. He's like, yeah, we've got to kill this megalodon. And Su Yen's like, no, we can't kill it. And I'm like, ask that whale if we should kill it. Both of them. Because they didn't make it. All right? The damn shark's a danger. It's only going to get worse. Something that big is going to completely like destroy the ecosystem because nothing will be able to stop it naturally in the environment. It will eat everything. You want it to just completely eradicate all ocean life in the Pacific Ocean?
We're in the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah.
Don't get loud with me. Besides the animals, what do you guys think of the characters and the actors? Jason Statham's character, Jonas.
I liked Jason Statham's character. I like Jonas.
I mean, he's just playing
it's Jason
every
Statham.
Jason Statham character, right? Like, if you've seen one Jason Statham movie, he's the transporter, but with the ocean this time. Like, that's what he is in this movie.
More of a collector.
because he's just like. But I will say the thing I like about Jason Statham's character in this movie compared to most of his other movies, he smiles. He's actually like a pretty chipper guy. He only gets upset when he absolutely like has been wronged or people are giving him a hard time. But otherwise, if people are being cool with him, he's just like, he's having a good time. Like when he does that joke with the dude, he's like, yeah, get your head in there. Get your head inside the shark. And then they scare him and he's like laughing. He's like, yeah. I'm like, we never get to see the side of Jason Statham in any of the other movies he does. He's always super serious action man. And in this, he actually gets to be a person. Like he has levity. He has fun. He just also can handle business when things go bad, which is kind of cool.
And I appreciated that his character didn't always know what was going to happen. Because, sometimes you have those protagonists, especially in these action type movies, who they know every single thing that's about to happen. Like they expect they're like, we can't get too comfortable. No, he's still out there. No. He thought they caught the Meg at first. Until
he was a little bit like, he was a little like, the teeth marks look weird. Don't they look weird? That doesn't look like a big enough bite. And then the second Megalodon comes out of nowhere being like, you killed my mate. I'm going to kill you all now.
Like, you goddamn right it ain't big enough. Now bring your ass over here.
Yeah, no, I did like that too about him, where he was like, he left it to the scientists. He was like, well, do you think it'll work? And they're like, maybe. He's like, all right, I guess maybe's good enough right now. Sure, let's do this. Send me into the water with this giant ass prehistoric shark. I'm cool.
Now, what I didn't. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say what I didn't appreciate is this shoehorned in love story that we always get in these. Roadhouse did the same thing. The same thing.
See, I admit I do actually like the romance in this movie, the way it was handled. I'm not a fan of romance, but I do like how like every character was like, he's single, she's single. They didn't really
but we can't wait until we know that we about to be alive. Like, we can't wait until the end.
But I was okay with it because it's like, it's not like they're like in the middle of an action scene. He's like, here, a kiss for luck. Like, it's like, no, they only ever like talk about it or share moments of passion, like during the down moments when everything does seem relatively fine.
Well, that's what Roadhouse did too, and we still dislike it.
No, but the difference is that Roadhouse, they never spend any time together except for one scene. These characters actually talk to each other and share some type of, and even then, they don't get together. They just say like, oh, you've got a hey, my mom has a crush on you. And then it's like, hey, I think you got a crush on Su Yen. So it's not like they even acknowledge like,
you telling me her looking him up and down while he half naked?
Okay, that's just attraction, all right. And listen, there's a lot of ladies that wouldn't have turned that down. All right, there's a lot of women that would have got them a double take.
Listen. All I'm saying is let's wait until we know that we're either alive or that we're about to die. And then we can confess all of our love to each other.
No.
They didn't even confess their love.
No, here's the thing. No, here's the thing. And I will say this in their defense for the romance. And again, I'm usually opposed to having romance in movies where it's not necessary. This is a movie about the Megalodon. I do appreciate they don't focus too much on it. But they thought they were safe. They kept thinking they were safe when these moments were happening. Because technically they were back at the substation. They're like, everything's good. Toshi just died, although they should have waited a little bit longer. Yeah, mourned a little bit. They were mourning later. Look, the man was shirtless and in a towel and just right out front of a shower. All right.
Plus, also,
yeah, you're right. Let me go to my grandma's funeral shirtless in a towel, and everybody will be like, "Oh, who died?"
Also, he didn't he did that on purpose. All right, we knew what he was doing. Okay, because first of all, he could have easily just been like, 1 second, let me put on a shirt, pants, whatever. No, he just walked straight up to the door.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. Take it in.
They both knew what they were doing. She busted in on purpose, and he left himself in a towel on purpose.
When she busted in, so that she was looking down. She
pointed at him when she the first words out of her mouth was, "You're naked."
No, it's
Which-
not. The first words out of her mouth was, "I'm
I don't
sorry.
mean
I
the
let
ex-
my temper get
the
the rest
next
of me,"
words.
and
The
whatever.
next words.
No,
It
what
might
I'm
as well
saying
have been
is,
the first words. All
you gotta
right.
be
It
fair.
might
You gotta
as well
give
have been
her
the
a
first
pass. She
words.
did not look at him. She walked in and was just like rambling, already just going off of what she was saying before she even took a look at what he was wearing, or lack thereof, rather. So Suyen gets a pass. All right. But Jonas does not get a pass. He could have easily been like when she knocked on the door, it's not like she was going to go nowhere. Where's she going to go? To the rest of the station? She's going to see you at some point. So he's just going to he can put on a shirt, put on some
was
pants.
in the privacy
an
of
extra
his
towel.
own room. He was probably expecting like somebody else. One of the guys that came, wanted to talk to him. Were like, I'm trying to think, Mac or something. Tell him something. Technically, Mac did come around by Jonas's room.
You mean to tell me on this $1 billion station they don't have robes, just towels?
Who wears a robe nowadays?
Many people wear robes. I used to, actually. I don't have one currently. No, I do have one currently, but it's in the wash. But yes,
I have one back home, but I don't here.
Do you guys put on a robe once you get out of the shower?
Not initially, but if someone's coming over, maybe.
He didn't know she was coming over. This is a weird argument, and I'm going to move on from this.
But anyway,
I don't even know what side anybody's on anymore.
I don't even know what this is anymore.
It's fine because also everyone's pretty rational, all things considered, except the little girl. I don't know. I feel like I'd be weirded out if the 8-year-old of the girl
was trying to set me up.
It's trying to set me up doing the eyebrows. Like, yeah. Like, first of all, do you even know what that means, kid? Because I don't think it means what you think it means.
Her character did
Whenever
feel
you give someone the eyebrows, that means you thinking something more is going down.
Her character definitely did feel like an adult writing for this little girl character. It didn't feel like her a genuine 8-year-old.
Like
what a genuine 8-year-old would do.
Yeah, but other than her, like the ex-wife, she's like, nah. Like if y'all got chemistry, I mean, it didn't work out between us, and there's no more gonna be happening between us. But hey, she's available, and you're available, and I do still care for you. I want you to do well, and I hope that you do the best. So and she is the best. So go ahead and do that. like I don't mind. I'm not gonna be jealous of nothing. And I'm like, that's a rational thing to be, because it's like, yeah, we're not married anymore. Like it's been a few years since we were married. The divorce is finalized. Like she does it because any other movie, what they would do. Like she'd still be playing games like she still wants him, but in the end of the movie, he'd realize, and then Soo-Yeon would find out, and she'd be like, I thought you wanted your ex-wife. And then he'd realize, no, I'm not in love with my ex-wife anymore. It's all about you. Like every movie does that. So this is the first we have ever seen where the ex is like, no, dude, like I'm good. I'm still hot. I can get tons of men on this station if I wanted to. I'm all right. I'm good. Like I've had, like we've been here. I don't want to do that again. But you should go for it. And like be happy.
I'm gonna take the conversation to a new turn. What death did you guys like the most?
Why would we
Rainn
like
Wilson.
the death?
Yeah. Like, who did you think whose death was
we
more
both said
Rainn
the
Wilson.
I
He is
love
the
that.
one person. Well, because everybody outside of Rainn Wilson, everybody else doesn't deserve to die.
Well, it's not about the deserving to die. It's how they died. Was it like
I liked Rainn Wilson.
Was a cool.
It was the funniest and the most like you knew it was coming.
Yo, for real though, I need people to be more secure on boats in this movie. Because you know how many people in this movie nearly die because they just fall off the boat? That's it. It's not like they got knocked off or anything. They just fall off.
What's his name? Fell off multiple times. Wait,
Ruby
actually,
Rose fell off multiple times.
She did. But also, you're on a boat, like with no securing. You can't latch yourself on. You have to move about.
Sit down.
Big
Why are you standing up?
Jerome says, "Sit your ass down."
Anywhere, go in the cabin and sit down, like the little, like where the steering is and everything. If you have nothing to contribute to the current part of what's happening on the outside part of this boat, yo ass don't need to be standing out here. Go sit down somewhere.
They were all contributing something. What I
And
meant was,
also,
like,
secondly, put on a life jacket for the like possibility that you fall off.
They could all
Hey, they're
swim
all
except
strong
for,
swimmers except the black guy.
Except
Paige Kennedy.
they'll get
DJ.
to DJ in a minute because I have a whole thing about DJ.
I felt like you would. I like the way they killed off Toshi, not to make that sound mean or anything, because of how they, how they did and how he saved everybody, because they were trapped under there, and it was being in underneath the Mariana Trench and having those lights that attracted the megalodon and the giant octopus in the first place, because they're not used to like that much brightness, so of course they're gonna think of it as an enemy and attack it. So I like the way they kind of killed him off, not because he wasn't a good character, but because of how like honorable his death was. He saved his friends, and like he knew exactly what to do to attract the megalodon far away from everybody. And when he slipped the note to his wife into the guy's pocket, I was like, oh, that was still sweet.
I hope his wife gets that note, because the dude whose pocket he put it in died, but thankfully he gave it to their boss, who then also died. So I'm like, I hope he told somebody else about that note, because if not, the two people who know about it have passed away.
Well, I'm assuming they're gonna go through the dead men's pockets to, get everything out.
But they're gonna loot the dead? Have you no
Do
shame?
you bury your dead in the suit they died in?
Yes. You know what I mean? Like we just leave it on. Especially if we know how they died. His ribs collapsed. We don't need to do an autopsy. I can tell you verbatim. I saw it happen.
I have nothing to say about
No,
that.
I'm just joking.
I have nothing more to add to that.
I like thought Toshi's death was actually very honorable. Very nice guy. I think they have an interesting dynamic to him and the other like scientist guy, and I wish they would have been in the movie more so we get to see their friendship. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I get it. It's like we don't have the type of time. We gotta keep it moving. But for the little bit of time they are on screen, they have great chemistry and they're really good. And I dug their relationship.
All the characters have very good chemistry with each other. They were all comfortable with each other, and they were they didn't talk down to each other. And I do appreciate that, because I do like a lot of science movies and science fiction movies. And when you have the scientists, they're always talking down on you. They're always like, oh, you don't understand the quantum physics of this. It's like, do I look like I understand the quantum physics of this? No, I do not. So explain it to me so I can save the day, because you're clearly not doing that. They try to like bring down the, every guy hero. And this, they were like, they were all kind of like a little in love with Jason, his character. Jonas, not Jason. Good Lord. Me with the
mean, it's Jason Statham does play the character, so I know you're
there we go. Jonas, where they're like, when he's like explains it to me, they're like, yeah, we got you. What do you want to know? And all that stuff. So it's really like nice to see when the scientists are actually like feeling more like real scientists. Because like I said, I work around doctors a lot, and most doctors, when you ask them a question, they're super excited to tell you exactly, like give you the biggest answer and like expand on it. So I feel like scientists are probably the same way. When you're like, hey, can you explain that? They're like, yeah, no, if I can talk about my work, I'll tell you everything. So I like it when the scientists are more like that, especially in like movies where you're talking about a prehistoric fish, or technically, yeah, prehistoric.
I want to know where they got that video from, because they find the Meg and then they're just like, the megalodon is this, and they click up and they pull out this slideshow. I'm like, I'm sorry, where did you find this? This is very well produced. Like, you guys were prepared for the possibility of a megalodon showing up, so you could have this footage / graphics ready to play at a moment's notice, just so you could explain to me what a megalodon is, because it's very well produced.
I feel like they have an archive of like all fish and animals from the beginning of time to, well, sharks are some of the most, oldest fishes in the sea. So technically it would be smart for them to have that ready, because they've been around
with
since
motion
like
graphics.
Yeah,
literally, it goes from a diorama of here's all the sharks and their sizes, then here's the megalodon, then the megalodon like picture, then animates and becomes a live shark and eats the rest of the sharks, so they can transition to the next slide. I see that
on TikTok at least once a week, so that could be already on hand. So I could open up probably my TikTok and it will be there after I'm yelling near my phone. definitely listening in on me. I'm probably going to see a bunch of Megalodon stuff next time I go on it. He hears me, and I bet I can pull up that video soon.
I thought that was funny. It's just like, oh, Megalodon. Got it. Got it. Here's the flash drive with the Megalodon footage. So just go ahead and put that in the projector.
That's because somebody was expecting it. You had that one intern who was like,
that's right. Steve already had this ready. He like, y'all thought we weren't gonna need it, but we did. Now we have it. Awesome. But no, to your point, I love that everybody is rational in this movie. Like, not just the love interest, but also like everybody. Because like when the Dr. Heller, realizes, oh, I guess there was something in the water and I totally got Jonas fired. Well, now I just feel like an asshole.
Like court-martialed. Weren't they technically like military?
I don't know. It's never really clear. But he does apologize. Like the second he sees Jonas, he's like, hey, man, listen.
No. The second he sees Jonas, he's like, fuck you still, man.
Well, no.
And then,
I mean, after
everybody sees the Megalodon. Yeah, he's like, yeah, so like, my bad. You may have seen a Megalodon.
Yeah, okay, there. That's more, even then, that's more like passive aggressive. He was very sincere. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
you
messed up.
Called me crazy and court-martialed me. I'm going to take everything you say with a grain of salt now. Everything you say to me sounds a little sarcastic.
I mean, that's a fair reaction, but he did try and be genuine with his apology.
In the sense that was more realistic because, you know, some movies would just use this as an opportunity to make an antagonist.
Yeah, make him double down. He's just like, well, just because there was one this time, don't mean that there was one that time. You still trash. Like,
and then the audience is happy when he gets eaten.
Right. Now here he's like,
and he did end up getting eaten.
Yeah, you just feel bad when everybody gets eaten.
Yeah, because everybody's rational. Everyone's actually pretty nice. And like when things happen, they're like, or if they make mistakes, they apologize for them. And they're just like, yeah, no, you know what? That's on me. That's my bad. I messed up. You know what I mean? Don't even sweat it. Don't even feel bad. Like that's, and I'm like, this is nice. This is nice to have a cast of characters that actually treat each other with respect and dignity. And no one is irrationally angry or like antagonistic just for the sake of the plot to happen. Like they're like, no, we're all in this together. You know, we're all going to stick together and we're all scientists and divers and, you know, aquamarine, like scientists and stuff like that. Like we all can be rational with one another. We can get along. Even Rainn Wilson as the billionaire character, until you find out just how shady he is halfway through the movie, he even seems like the most rational person to be like, nah, I got you guys back. I'm going to call the military to help us take down this shark and everything. I'm with y'all. We are in this together.
Well, technically, he was pretty rational, and he did let them make their own decision. Like, hey, look, this is a whole scientific discovery. We can either go for it. You guys can go for it, as I paid for like everything. You have the equipment. You've been given everything. Or somebody else gets it. What do you want to do? And then they're like, oh, yeah, no, you make sense. And then even then, he technically does protect them. He gets them all like, hey, basically, he does lie. He says the military is coming. They're not.
No, but he does endanger the rest of the world to this Megalodon.
I mean, they've all technically endangered the world to this Megalodon. It's all their faults collectively. Because
but they did it on accident. He purposely does not tell the government that there's a Megalodon out there.
Accident or not, you still hold some of the blame. Scientific discovery and all that, but, you know, going places where you shouldn't be going. Sometimes the world has secrets for a reason. We ain't meant to be there. Oh my God. So going off course a little bit, there is a TikTok I found that gives me the most like high anxiety I've ever felt. This man is going caving, and it's not like a big cave. This man like squeezes through a small cave, and like the water's up to his knees, and he's walking around, and there's like different little caverns, and it's like, no. The fact that you have to squeeze in there, and then it's like a 10-minute TikTok. I've never really watched one of those, but I could not stop watching this one. And he's just like wandering. I'm like, how do you not get lost? How do you remember stuff? And he's like literally squeezing into other parts. Like there's another little hole, and he squeezes through that. And it's like, No, you were not meant to be down there. None of us were meant not to be
Ain't
down
nobody
there.
seen
No.
127 hours.
See,
I've seen it,
that's
yeah.
your reference. For me, it's The Descent. Remember those
No.
ladies? They squeeze their asses in that tight space and then
And
get
you know
lost
what?
in there.
You know what a big component of both those movies is? Nobody told anybody where they were going. Because the Descent, the person told a whole different mountain. She's like, oh, this was a new discovery. And I wanted us to be the first ones to explore it. You had no idea what you were walking into. And with 127 hours, you kind of knew what you were doing, but you literally avoided everybody to the point nobody even knew where you were. Like, you had been bike riding around there, cool, but it's still a bunch of rocks. It's nature. Nature is so dangerous all the time. And be in it, explore it, but also don't go in any places you have to squeeze yourself in too.
No, you're
I feel
right.
like that's
listen, we live in a world now where people know how to make atom bombs. I feel like that's a secret that was destined to stay a secret until a scientist decided, no, but I want to, like, what happens though? It's like, no, stop asking questions, okay? Now you've created a world ready to pop like a balloon because you was a little curious.
Pretty much, there are certain secrets of this world that should remain a secret. If there is something under the Mariana Trench, that should just stay there, respectively. I love the ocean. I love learning stuff. But if there's something below all the crazy-ass things we've seen so far in the ocean, that is not meant for us. That is not meant to our world.
Atlanteans?
Do you think they would be mermaids or like still like people?
I think they'd be I think they'd be a mix of the two. They'd be people, but they'd have like webbed hands and feet to help them like swim better. Like, because they would evolve to like be able to function in the water. Maybe have gills, but they'd still have,
they'd probably look, and they wouldn't look like they would look ugly.
Yeah,
like
they would not look like us. I think they'd look like fish.
Yeah, they wouldn't have eyes because they wouldn't need them. Like,
oh, so down in the water, yeah. Oh. God, that is, I just got a visual in my head. That is cool. When you said the no eyes part, my brain was just like, hey, here's this image.
Yeah, they probably have sharper teeth to be able to eat fish and stuff, just like chew through like raw fish if they're like eating fish under the water in the pressures. And then on top of that, though, they'd be super muscular to wade through that pressure. They'd probably be really strong.
They've also would have high amount of cartilage. That's sharks have high cartilage too. That's why they're in constant motion all the time, because if they stop, the cartilage can actually harden. So they would probably be mostly cartilage and muscle, and their skin would be very wrinkly, to help it, grasp onto things. Again, with the no eyes thing, that hit me like I'm feeling it in like my soul right now.
Like
I'm going to have a nightmare tonight. Yeah, I'm going to have a nightmare tonight. Absolutely, of this thing we have now described.
The moral of the story is, if Atlanteans do exist, kill them with fire.
You're in water.
They're not going to
come above water.
They're not going to be the beautiful human mermaid hybrids that we see.
Right, Ariel is not coming up. Okay.
No.
That gorgeous flowing hair is not going to be down there.
I don't think they'll even have hair. What use do they have for it?
You getting the spawn of Ariel.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to think what would. I mean,
you're getting the creature from the Black Lagoon, is what you're getting, okay?
Or the thing from Shape of Water.
Right.
Oh God.
No, not from The Shape of Water, okay? I'm sure there's plenty of women out there already that still love the fact that you could still have sex with it. That's a
look, we're not getting into the whole like monster fucking thing that's going around nowadays. Like, that's
I'm just saying, that's a whole conversation in that movie. When people ask you, have you seen The Shape of Water? Like, the first thing out of most people's mouths who've seen it is like, oh, the movie where the girl has sex with the fish man?
There's a book I learned. I think it's like called Pisces or so. It's something fish, worded. They're like, oh, if you like Shape of Water, read this book. I never seen Shape of Water. I'm not into the idea of fucking a fish. However, apparently this book is much more graphic about the person having sex with the fish. And I was like, who wrote this? Who did this?
Someone who's a fan of Shape of Water.
But like, how do you wake up like on a Tuesday afternoon and be like, I'm gonna write a whole sex scene about a person fucking a fish? Like, I'm gonna figure out how that works out.
Which is funny because I love that people like they reduce that movie down to that scene, even though that there's not a scene. Like it's not like we see her make love to the fish man. Literally, they just embrace, and then the next scene, she's describing it to like her girlfriend, like at work.
It's enough that a description happens. You know what happened. The implications. But anyway, back to the Meg, where everybody has an appropriate relationship with a fish.
That's true. The biggest negative to this movie is DJ, easily.
Is what?
DJ. And it's not Paige Kennedy's performance. It's that his performance is reduced down to him being like every other, like being just like not another teen movie. I'm not. I don't have an opinion. I'm just the relative black friend character. All right. I'm just supposed to sit here, stand back, and wait for stuff to happen. And when it does, react by saying "damn" and "that's whack." Like because that's basically his character the whole movie. His character either is complaining. Because, man, we ain't supposed to be out here, man. I want to be out here, man. All this stuff going on, there's sharks in the water and stuff, man. or it's, I can't swim. I'm drowning. I can't swim. Or terrible jokes. That is his character reduced in every single scene.
I will say
it's one of those three things.
A more real character in the second movie. His character did get developed.
Is he? Because in the second movie, he goes from being the stereotypical black character to Black James Bond for no reason.
No. He was actually very smart because I was actually starting to rewatch the Meg 2, The Trench. He was actually the main, like, he was very knowledgeable in the tech and everything like that, which is something I think they were supposed to have him do because he did talk about the technology of the searching of the sonars and things like that. So he did have knowledge, but that was all quickly drowned out by him doing, the black stereotype thing. I do like when he's like, I can't swim. And Rainn Wilson's character is like, you work in the ocean. He's like, don't make this a don't be racist.
Although I love it, here's the thing when you have like an actor who can do something that the character can't do because he's clearly swimming in the scene. And he's telling him, I can't swim. How the hell then are you moving through the water to get to the boat? That's swimming. You can swim. Because Paige Kennedy, the person, can swim.
He does not become Black James Bond in the second one. He's still very I just thought about that.
You're right. Actually, you're right. He's not Black James Bond. He's Black Batman because he has an entire pack filled with gadgetry so that he can fight back against these like pirates.
By a megalodon, a prehistoric fish from like a middle of the ocean to a whole island, and you like so many times dynamite could have helped. I too would just carry dynamite. And
it's not just dynamite. He has a bunch of stuff. He even has a Desert Eagle ready.
I don't have a backpack right now because my car sucks. I have a car jump battery starter. I have duct tape in my backpack. I also have like Q-tips and nail file and things like that. I have things in my backpack. Somebody was like, "You look like you're about to torture somebody." With all the shit in my backpack, but that's because I had zip ties in there. But that was for a perfectly different reason.
Are for torture methods only. I'm about to poke them in his eyes.
Apparently, having zip ties, duct tape, and a battery jump starter makes you look a little suspicious when somebody looks into your backpack. But the point was, it had nothing to do with anything. I was prepared. That's like he was prepared for the second movie.
Hey, this is a review of The Meg. Meg 2, The Trench is when Alex wins the next trivia. All right.
Fine. I'll make y'all watch it.
Also, you know who else is prepared for anything? Batman.
Yeah, but Batman wears tights or a rubber suit. I don't know what that thing is. Looks like he overheats. But I get what you're saying about Paige's. He's a very much comic relief character, which in this movie you don't really need the comic relief either.
Everyone's pretty funny.
Everybody's pretty chill.
Everyone has comedic moments, especially when you have Rainn Wilson in the movie.
And especially because, like, you don't need him to be that wacky. Like that moment when they scare him with the dead megalodon, like scared the wall. Like that was like genuinely funny because that's a very human thing to do. That's a very human moment, and it's funny by itself. Or the scene when I'm sorry, Mei Ying is in the sub, and Jonas is like, "Where's your mom and dad?" And she's like, "Well, my mom is down trying to save everybody, and my dad's with a Pilates instructor in Taipei." And I'm like, that's funny. Like the way she delivers it, the way she says it is a very funny way to deliver it. Which, first of all, can I just say shout out to I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, Shuya Sophia Kai. I think is how you pronounce her name. She was great. Not only was she really cute, she's just adorable, but also she had great line delivery. Like she was really good. There wasn't a single line she said that I didn't believe coming out of her mouth. Like even except for like the eyebrow thing, but that's just because of the writing, not because she didn't deliver it well. But everything else, like she was a really good like kid in this movie as far as like her acting and everything. And I hope she's doing very well and got more roles off of this movie.
Yeah, I did like that line with the Pilates instructor because it's something kids really do to you. They tell you this like dark secret from their family, and you just gotta stand there and be like,
cool. Well, she is right. 8-year-olds are like sounding boards. You want to know the tea about what's going on in a household? Ask the kids. They probably know because they've probably been eavesdropping on phone conversations and everything else.
Oh yeah.
I was just on my TikTok feed. I've been getting lately a lot of Ray William Johnson videos, and for those who don't know Ray William Johnson, he especially I only know him on TikTok. I know he was big on YouTube.
He used to be the number one YouTuber back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with a high subscriber amount. Till PewDiePie, I think, dethroned him. I think either PewDiePie or Smosh, one of the two. I think one of them dethroned him from that station.
Probably PewDiePie.
Well, on TikTok, he does these, and he's a great storyteller. He tells these true crime stories with like visuals and everything. And he told the story of, if anyone remembers, the Balloon Boy, the heist, the family who wanted to be on TV, so they pretended their son was trapped in a balloon, but it turned out it was all fake. And then they went on like the Today Show or something, or CNN, and the little kid, he was about 7 or 8 years old. He said, "We did this for a show," and then that completely like blew up their whole plan. Yeah. So, case in point, yes, 8-year-olds, they have no filter.
I love it. I love when kids just tell you this. Unprovoked too. You can just be like, "Do you want a color?" And they're like, "My mommy and daddy sleep in separate rooms."
Oh, I thought you were going with like, "Do you want a color?" My mommy says that the colors are not good people. All right, then I guess I guess we're just gonna move on from that conversation.
Oh, she actually played. Sorry, she played the daughter again in Meg 2: The Trench. That's her.
Did she? Okay, I was wondering that because like
she's
I wasn't sure if she was the same kid or if they got a new kid. But she actually, now looking at pictures, yeah, she is the same kid.
Yeah, which is like cool. I like when they do that.
And she was great in the second movie too. So like, she's got a bright future, man.
Definitely.
She's only been in 4 movies, but I'm sure that list will grow as she gets older.
Now I need to watch Meg 2.
I mean, I do understand why they got Paige Kennedy, because Paige Kennedy got his start on Vine, like as a quote unquote Vine comedian, like doing like little skits and stuff. And then he's been in a few things after that. Like he was in he's been on TV in a couple different episodes here and there.
Oh, you remember King Batch? So like once in a while, like shit will pop up on my feed, and it's him saying how he's too old for TikTok. And I know he got a few roles after Vine, and I thought recently about him. I'm like, I wonder what he is. What is he doing? My coworker went to a Joe Cho.
Yeah.
The Joe Cho comedy. He was in
Joe Choi.
Joe Choi, thank you. Joe Choi. He was in Seattle on Friday, and she went to a show. she was telling me, she's like, oh, one of the opening comedians was somebody called Ping Bat. I'm like, you mean King Batch? Like Batch? She's like, is that what that was? And she's like, yeah. She's like, the black guy? I'm like, yeah, I remember him from like why did so she's like, yeah, he was pretty funny. She's like, he moved around the stage so much. He was like running up and down the stage for whatever reason. I was like, yeah, I could see him like moving a lot too, because I remember his comedy being a
I
lot.
didn't know he did stand up. I know he was on TV and movies and stuff.
I didn't know either. I was really surprised when she said his name.
I mean, good for
I was
him
just like,
though. I think as a person who really loves comedy and likes comedy, I think like because especially all the Vine comedians and stuff who are like, I'm a comedian, and I'm like, I don't know. For me, like the definition of if you become a comedian, like official, is when you at least do stand up. Like, not even if you're not necessarily great at it, like
yeah,
when you do stand up and like you've actually like because that's the basis of comedy for a lot of it. Like if you can go onto a stage and make people laugh for even 5 minutes, that's like for me, I'm like when you can call yourself like an official comedian. Until then, you're a comedic actor. Like if that, I feel like that's the distinction.
And there are
between
some great comedic actors.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Regina Hall.
yeah,
Great
she
comedic
is an
actor.
amazing.
Like I don't know if
Keke
I would call her a
Palmer.
comedian, but she's a great comedic actor. Like she has comedy in her blood. Like Regina Hall just knows funny. Like she knows how to be funny.
Keke.
Mm-hmm.
Keke Palmer.
Yep. Well, Keke can do everything.
Lord. But I liked his character here most of the time. I think sometimes, yeah, you were right. He just was just a little too much in certain scenes, especially when he was just started yelling, "We're not supposed to be here," and it's like a dude, like maybe like you're not helping this situation at all by yelling at everybody. They're trying to make sure the two people in the water don't die. Maybe volume control just a little bit.
I also like just to give a shout out to the Asian cast in this. What do we think about Su Yen, like Bing Lee as Su Yen? Because we talked a lot about her like relationship with Jonas in the movie, but not her as her own character. Like,
I really like how they did it. Make her. They gave her arrogance too, but also the willingness to admit when she's wrong. Usually, when the smart character does something stupid, it works out for them. They're like, yeah, because I'm so smart, it works out for me. Her character continuously failed, but in a sort of a good way, because she was prepared for a situation, but when the situation changed, it was admittedly, I can't just adapt and adjust to the situation because I have no clue what's going on. Like when she went through the Mariana Trench, and all of a sudden she's just trying to help her, save her friends, and all of a sudden she's faced with a megalodon. It's not like she's like, oh, let me do some quick calculations and figure this out. She's like, oh shit, there's a giant octopus wrapping around me, crushing my whole ship. Now there's a megalodon heading for me. She's like, I'm fucked. So it was again, these characters were a little more realistic, whereas like just trying to figure something out. And when she realized her ship was messed up, she did, um, blast her engines or her tanks and was able to go back up to the surface. Same way when she was supposed to get into the shark cage and shoot the shark, she was, she had to be safe, but she was like, yeah, just go, leave me as I'm drowning, being dragged to the bottom of the ocean. I didn't like how careless she was with her life. You had a child, ma'am. You had a 8-year-old child.
I appreciate the best thing I like about her character is how active of a character she is. She's not, because it's so in many movies like this, especially action movies, and her being the love interest, it would be easy for her to just be in the background like, oh no, the hero character is going to die. I guess I'll just stand back here and look concerned. Like, it's like, no, she's a scientist. She is a marine biologist. She understands sharks. So she gets in there. She's active. Like if there's a problem, I can dive. I can work a submarine. I'm going down there to save my friends. And it's a motivation that makes sense. Same thing with the megalodon, where she's like, I know how to operate in a shark tank and trank sharks with the harpoon gun. I got this. You already did your part to get the tracker on him. Let me do my part. This is my
Well,
job.
yeah.
I can do it. And so I'm like, and granted, she's not taking into account the like how irregular the situation is, where it's like, I mean, yes, you do get in a Shark Tank and deal with regular sharks, but this is a megalodon. Little different.
But it's also she's the one who has the most experience, close enough to the situation. So they're like, I guess you, yeah, I guess we don't really have a choice. I do like how, because she was, with a love interest, and she was with her father. They never tried to stop her character. They never tried to be like, you're my daughter, you can't do this. He's like, all right, well, please just don't die. I love you, you're my child. But, don't die, please. But he still like didn't try to fight her about going down or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she was very multifaceted. She had all of these relationships around her. She had her daughter, she had her father, she had this blooming love story with Jason Statham, and that could have easily reduced her to just being those things, but she was also being a boss and doing what she needed to do underwater, contrasting to, once again, homegirl in Roadhouse, who
you really do not like Danielle Melchior's character in Roadhouse.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who her sole purpose was to randomly hook up with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well, she did save him from the cops that one time.
And then get captured. And then she got captured, and her dad turned out to be a random bad guy.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
yeah, this father was like, he's like, yeah, I was hard on you because you had potential, but also my bad for taking about all the fun out of your childhood too. I like that he got that apology in the end. He's like, I worked you because you knew you were going to be great, but also, my bad for just like not hugging you and sucking all the fun out of the childhood and only making you work, and be scientists. But she's still, her character was so multi-layered. It was very interesting, and they also didn't make her just smart to help the main character either. She was very smart on her own too. She had her own research and everything going on. She's like, this is my life's work. And I'm like, yes, it is. I'm like, be proud.
Yeah, she was great. I loved her character a lot. She reminded me a lot of Furiosa in that way, like how Furiosa and Mad Max have that same, not a romantic relationship, but their same like teamwork dynamic of like, you have your job, I have my job. We are both clearly skilled, but I can't help. Like, I can do things just like you can do things. And if we work together, we can accomplish our goals. And it's just like, and it's the same thing here where it's like even in the ending fight, like without her, Jonas probably would have died.
Yeah.
But then working together, and vice versa, but them working together, like they got the job done and did it well. So, it's like, it's a good thing. I like the way that she's written. And I don't know how much of that is the book versus the script, but either way, like she's a great character. And then also her dad, played by Winston Cho, as he's only referred to in IMDb as Zhang, but he was great too. For the little bit of time he was on screen, he definitely had that like fatherly love going on. I wonder if those pictures at his like memorial were like actual pictures of him when he was young. Because that one picture in particular, where he's like, I was like, okay, is that just like his headshot when he started acting or something?
Probably. They do that a lot, and like they ask for like actual photos of the actor.
Which I think is so much better when you're doing that in films and stuff. Be like, hey, can you just bring in some photos? Because then you see in other photos, they have like the CGI or the AI now operated ones where it's like these two characters have never actually been in the same room with each other, but they're hugging. They're so close. And it's like these ones that look like these weird childhood photos that like, that's not the same child. That's a whole different race going on. I don't know what that is not the same kid.
The worst one is, you ever seen Marley and Me? In Marley and Me, there's supposed to be a scene where after Owen Wilson and Jennifer Aniston's character have kids, they their kids are looking through their old pictures of Owen Wilson and her when they were young, and there's a clear picture of him just like his neck and her neck photoshopped onto two different bodies. The dude's is like jacked and he's got like a tan. and it doesn't quite blend with Owen Wilson's head. And then Jennifer Aniston's body, which I'm like, first of all, you don't even have to do that. Jennifer Aniston did look like that and still does to this day.
Yeah.
Just Photoshop a whole picture of Jennifer Aniston.
Well, the whole thing is, I never understood this, and it's always confuses me with movies. Why don't they just take some photos? Like, I feel like it's not that hard.
They
to take a
do
couple
that.
photos that you can do.
They do that sometimes. Other times, I feel like, especially if they're trying to get pictures of like multiple people together in the past, when they were younger, that's when they'll do Photoshop, and that's when it could turn wrong.
That's like fair, that I understand. But it's just like, yeah, I'll see some. I feel like when I'm watching a major budget film, they definitely skimp on the photos. They definitely do that, and it's like, okay, come on. I was enjoying the movie until I saw the photo album. Until I found the one weird photo where it's clearly like a whole different people that you try to get. You found this at a thrift store. I don't know who thought it was a good idea. They're like, it's close enough. They may be redheads in the photo, but
they just use the stock photo that you get with the picture frame, which is just Photoshop. Just pasted their heads onto it.
I love it.
But I mean, he did great. I like Winston Chow in this movie. I think he's very good. For the little bit of time he's in it, he doesn't get much to do, but when he's there, he makes the most of his time. Also making most of their time, Cliff Curtis as Mac, as Jonas's best friend, or at least you assume so, because they just kind of just bro out every scene they're in. They're just like, he's just like, hey, it's you. Nah, dude, it's you. No, dude, it's you.
Think about like what Jonas has been through. Like, a lot of people are like, you just killed your two closest friends. And he's like, there's a giant fish down there. And so everybody kind of turned on him thinking, oh, you just kind of abandoned your team. This one guy is still being like, hey, I'm happy to see you. I'm so excited you're here. He's like, yay, somebody's just happy to see me. I'm so happy about that. So I can see why they were like broing out all the time. He's like, you didn't treat me like shit. I appreciate it, even when I got court-martialed. And the other guy's just like, you're badass in the water. So like, yeah, I'm going to keep you as a friend. Especially when like you have that friend that has a weird like skill or something that you're like, I want to keep you around because like eventually I feel like you're definitely going to come in handy if I have to suddenly rob a store or something. Something's got to go down. I know either you'll be a fantastic getaway driver or like, I just know you got to be by my side when it comes time for something to happen.
He does make for a good wingman. I mean, he didn't really do much, but he does try to be like, I'm just saying, Su Yen she's looking good in that swimsuit and she thinks you look good in that swimsuit. So I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe you can make some magic happen. I'm just saying. Like, you do what you want.
And I feel like that's a true, like, bro. Be like, hey, I know we're kind of more dating, but like, you're divorced, man, and her husband, is gone too. You could be sad and divorced together.
That divorced together.
Feel like they were going sometimes.
You know who's looking for a good time? Divorcees. And you just so happen to be both divorcees. So,
Yeah. They deserve it. They deserve to have that fun time. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Last one I'll talk about before we go. Ruby Rose is in this movie. And
I liked her character.
I liked her character, but listen, I'm glad her hair survived all that damn gel because her hair looked like it could stab somebody the second she turned her head around the wrong way.
That annoyed me a little bit. It's like, you've been out the water for a solid 2 hours. Your hair ain't that wet.
It's not even when she was in the water. When we first meet her hair is like gelled down into like spikes on the front of her face. I'm surprised her hair doesn't look like icicles moving across her face.
But and then towards the end, she got I liked her character. She seemed very like grounded. But towards the end, she got a little bit video game character-y for me. Also,
yeah, because you can just hack it to this satellite. Like, you want me to hack her to these satellites and track their shark? Yes. Okay. I'm like, hold up, No, ain't no okay. You act like that's just like a trip to
Also-
the mall to pick up milk real quick. I
Yeah,
don't know why I
weren't
said the
you the
mall. I
one
meant the
design?
grocery store. You don't go to the mall to get
And
milk.
wherever you go to get your milk, Jerome, we're not judging you. You know, we love you and we support your life. But also, yeah, she was like, I designed, you know, stuff for the substation. Why is it, you know, an engineer like that suddenly able to hack into everything? She's like an engineer. She built
Because
the
she's
Shark Tank
family.
thing.
Just like in Fast and Furious.
Wrong franchise.
Why every person is just like, man, we need to hack into this military grade thing. Good thing I know a mechanic. It's like, okay, I'm glad we can get our oil changed, but we still need to hack into these militaries like satellites. What does that have to do with what I just said?
When Ruby Rose and all the crew, they were on the boat, the high speed, and they were like moving along on the water. And you could clearly hear in the background the motor and just the noise of the ocean was so loud. Ruby Rose was talking like this. Like, how can you talk like this and someone can actually hear you when you're on a boat that's loud? Because the guy's over here like screaming. He's screaming at her. Yeah, we need to do this. And she's talking like this. That part annoyed me.
Because Ruby Rose is always cool, man. That's
right.
Ruby Rose.
She
She's
can't get
cool.
hot. She can't get too up there. She has to talk like this the whole time.
mean-
I'd be like, what? What did you say? Speak up.
I didn't like her character so much because they tried to make her character like so cool and badass all the time. It's like, first of all, as somebody with long hair, and she kind of had long hair, the moment our hair touches seawater, especially with product, you're fucked. That hair is just fucked. Seawater is your enemy when you got a lot of hair, okay? And then secondly, you're wearing leather in the ocean. You fall. How you're going to be so squishy when you walk. When you walk, you have like leather. I'm sure there's water stuck in your pants. You're just squishing about now. It's like also you're working on a substation. What are you doing wearing leather? Is it necessary to wear that leather jacket at
leather's
the
cool,
moment?
Alex. All right, you know how you know you're cool. You're wearing leather everywhere you go.
It's ridiculous. Get like everybody else is like, I'm dressed really warmly. You know, it's cold in this fucking substation because we're in the middle of the ocean. Nope, let me wear my leather boots, my leather pants, my leather jacket, and it's like. Cool. Why? What is all this? Who are you trying to prove you're cool to? You're around a bunch of nerdy scientists.
Also, she better be glad that she the one scene she actually gets to do some acting. She just got out of water because she sure was trying to squeeze them tears out. And thankfully, she was so wet you really couldn't say because if she was dry, you would have been like, "Well, damn, like I guess you didn't care about Heller that damn much. You sure ain't getting them tears out."
Well, she only
her
did
face is
before she
already
turned
covered
into,
in water, so she's just like, this is hide my lack of tears.
Right.
But then they
cry
make
in
her
the
all
shower
brody,
so
like,
you can hide your tears.
That's why they dipped her in the water. We're like, we have a new idea. This is how we're gonna go with it because we can't get her to cry. Just soak her.
We're gonna cover half your face with your hair, and then you're gonna be soaking wet.
Yeah, no, I'm just picking on Ruby Rose. I actually like Ruby Rose in most things she's in. I thought she was great in John Wick 2, as the mute, like badass bodyguard. But
See, I'm not a big fan of her. I feel like all her characters, she's quickly playing into, you know, that one note character, the cool girl among all the other rest of the people, you know, and it's like, is it? We're adults. We're all adults. Is there really a cool person anymore like that? I don't ever walk into my office and be like, "Oh man, she's badass. She's so cool with her leather and her hair." It's like, no, I'm like, what are you doing wearing that stuff? Like, we have to be in this office for 8 hours. How are you gonna be in leather? It's the leather pants thing that's driving me. How are you gonna be in leather pants for 8 hours
are on the leather
sitting
pants
down?
thing.
Because it's so stupid to wear leather pants sitting down at a computer for 8 hours. That's got to get warm for one. If it's like real leather, let's say it's real leather, you get falling into the water, you're all squishy now. That's definitely also when you get leather wet, it's a little hard to pull stuff down now because all the moisture sticking to your skin. So now she's just hopping around her bedroom trying to get the pants off to like actually take a proper shower. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't wear leather pants when you're working in the middle of the ocean. There are just certain articles you shouldn't wear. Probably you should wear contacts too. You shouldn't be wearing glasses. I could never work in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah,
Final thoughts.
movie's good.
Yeah, I
It's
agree. It
a
was fun.
fun time. I think it's like not your stereotypical action movie because of like how much dedication is to a little bit of the science of like how things work and stuff. But there's still plenty of action. There's still plenty of stuff going on. I love the cast. I think everyone does a pretty good job. Even my complaints about Paige Kennedy, it's not Paige Kennedy's fault. It's the writing. But he himself, like as an actor, is doing a good job. Like, and I think, like, I am excited. I think the Meg 2, just like, much like the Meg 2, I think the Meg 2 is a little more ridiculous than this movie. But even still, I do like these movies. I like the premise. And I think, if they do more movies, that'd be dope. I wouldn't mind seeing some more. Uh, but it's just good to see these characters be treated like human beings. Everyone is fairly rational. Everybody has like something to do or something to say, and it's never feels like it's contrived or, well, we have to have them say this line because that's what you say in these type of action movies. Like no one's like you don't have a scene where they're like, it's a megalodon, and then someone's like, God help us all. Like that's in every action movie ever. Whenever like the natural disaster or natural phenomenon happens and then somebody has to react. Like they didn't have a scene like that. Like it's very like modern and everything is very tight and meant to be there. And it's great. It's great to see an action movie like that. I don't think it's like fair that IMDb right now is like a 5.7 out of 10 on this movie. I mean, if I had given this movie a grade back in the day, I would have given it like a solid B. I think it's a nice like B action movie.
I thought this movie was fun. I wish I would have seen it at least in the theater, preferably like in IMAX or Dolby. If, mark my words, if there is a third one, I will plan my trip up to Seattle so we can watch it together in 40X.
Yes.
Or if there's a re-release, if they decide to do a re-release, like what's playing in 40X right now? I don't even know. But if they,
I don't know, but there's a re-release of The Mummy on April 25th that I'm dying to go to. I love the movie. It's another favorite movie. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue.
So I enjoyed the movie. Like Jerome was kind of saying, the cliches were at a minimum for this type of movie. There still were some cough cough, the romance. I knew you were gonna. But Jason Statham, he was a really likable protagonist, and the rest of the cast, I feel like, did a really good job. You could tell that the chemistry was there. The scenes were engaging. I appreciated that the darkness was very limited. There wasn't too much darkness because I hate that in movies when I could barely see half the screen, and that makes me just want to close my eyes when I see darkness, especially if I'm in a dark theater. I'm just gonna close my eyes. So I appreciated that darkness was at a minimum. And yeah, I had a good time. I had a good time watching this for the first time. I hadn't seen the Meg before this.
Oh, really? What grade do you give it then? Since you saw it for the first time.
I'll also give it a B. I'd say this is a solid B for me.
I really like this movie just because, one, again, my love for sharks, my love for the ocean, and my love for science. I'm a big science nerd. My coworkers are very sweet. And even though I'm like 33, I'm the youngest person in that office. So they kind of treat me like the youngest person too. So, like, once a day, I'll give them a science fact. And they're just all like, good job, Alex. And I'm like, you know what? I like it. I'll take it. So I get to share my nerdiness and love of that with them. And I appreciate that they let me do that. But I just really enjoy this movie because it doesn't make everything so dramatic. Like there's a lot of movies that take science and just turn it into like a life or death situation. Like I'm trying to think like Armageddon. I don't know why that movie's popping into my head. I don't know why that, but it's something like that where it's like, oh, we can only use science. It's like they're like, no, we're studying something. It's really interesting, and yeah, we now have to probably kill it, but also we do want to research this because this is something we haven't seen in millions of years. And it's so cool to have like a live version of it in front of you. I can see the main when Shujin,
So
is that
yeah.
how you pronounce it? Shuyin, thank you.
Mhm.
Shuyin was hesitant, be like, wait, we can't kill it. We're about to like, not only did we bring something up from below the trench, but this is something that should have been dead billions of years ago. So I saw her hesitation with that because I'm like, this is really cool. Because sometimes there's stuff I learn about like science facts where I'm like, this is really awesome. Fucking terrifying, and I'm pretty sure if it's ever released into the world, that's kind of the world's gonna end. But brilliant that somebody could ever do this. And The Megalodon quickly became one of my favorite movies because of that, because it had a hint of the sci-fi. You were right, where it's ships and explaining things. Where it's like, yeah, this is definitely a little more out there, especially with a big thing I know with submarines and a lot of ships that go underneath and even drones are the pressure of the water. They still can't calculate on how to do that. They can't calculate how to do that. So it'd be cool the idea of like going past the Mariana Trench and knowing that there's even more things down there. Totally exciting to see. Totally would, be happy to see, and getting to see that even a glimpse like the big theater was really cool, and seeing the water and everything like that. And the water made me feel so calm too. I love it. And I felt like all the characters were pretty well rounded and multi-layered. None of them were, even with Paige Kennedy's character DJ, he wasn't too ridiculous. He was ridiculous, I will give you that, but he wasn't like insane over the top where it's like, wow, you really just pulled it out of like not another teen movie. He was still had some smart moments, except for that like where he's just screaming at the top of his lungs and be like, no, dude, not appropriate for this time. But like all the characters had a solid reason for them to be there. There wasn't just also a character, that was like a personality hire or anything like that. So I did enjoy that all the characters that were on screen were necessary to the story at one point or another. They weren't just there. I didn't like how they just randomly, did the hacking thing where it's like, no, you were an engineer at the beginning of this. And if anybody should have been able to hack into something, it should have been DJ.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one handling that type of tech stuff. And I feel like they did take that away from him. But I also, one of my favorite scenes is when the Megalodon does attack the heavy dense populated beach area, because it also shows human stupidity. When somebody's shouting at you, get out of the water, get out of the water. But it's just a very human nature. It's not until the first person gets eaten that everybody starts freaking out and it's a whole panic, everything. But yeah, if somebody comes running to you and they say, get out of the water, shark, you don't even have to say shark. If somebody's just yelling, get out of the water, get out of the water. Very simple, very easy.
Although
Listen
it
to
did
the
make me
screaming
laugh
person.
when those dudes are calling to those girls, being like, "Hey, girl, why don't you come on over here real quick?" You know what I'm saying? Because you see all the girls on the barge,
Yeah.
and then the shark pulls the ultimate wingman move. He's like, "I got you, fam," and pulls their anchor and pulls them over. And then they're just like, and I'm sure in his mind he was like, hold on, wait a minute. I said come over here, not that damn fast. Hold on, wait a minute. And the damn barge collided with theirs. I was like, the shark, I appreciate the Megalodon helping to put these two together, but this is a little extreme. You're getting a little
I felt
with it.
more like, she's like, I'm trying to eat. Will you shut up? You keep flirting. I'm trying to just eat. You know what? Here's your girl. Now shut up. I'm gonna eat you guys now. But yeah, it was like scenes like that they still had such a, even though it was technically violent, it was still so comedic. There was a comedic layer to everything they did, and it kept everything just like from getting to that too dramatic of a point. And I think as long as it didn't turn that dramatic, that's what it didn't get, like cringy or like this movie's taking itself way too seriously. It didn't have those heavy drama moments where the character staring off into space and being like, oh, what I've released into the world. He's like, oh fuck, now I have to deal with this. He's like, I was just supposed to get my ex-wife out of the Marina Trench. That was my job. Now I'm doing this. I'm spearing a giant fish. Like, how the hell that happened? So I did love how they knew where to draw the line with their drama and comedy in certain scenes and everything like that. So I think this movie is just so enjoyable and so much fun, and just a pretty good thing a way to learn, about the megalodon, the prehistoric shark, and how it could just pretty much eat the whole ocean in a gulp.
Those are our thoughts on the Meg.
Those are the
Retro
thoughts.
review done.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again,
also, sorry, I wanted to say this fun fact,
Ugh.
but but we got so busy talking, I forgot about it. This movie has been in development hell, though, also since 1996, by the way.
That I knew because they kept trying to. I think it was a lot of rewrites, and they were like,
well, Disney's Hollywood Pictures bought the rights originally, and then and then the project had stalled, and so the rights reverted back, and then it looks like New Line Cinema was trying to do it with Guillermo del Toro as the producer on it, and then
interesting.
They canceled it due to budget reasons, and then again he got the rights back again, and then in 2015 Warner Brothers picked it up, and originally Eli Roth was supposed to direct, possibly, but due to creative differences, they got
bloody.
Right.
Due to creative differences, they got John Turteltaub, who ended up directing the movie, actually.
Which is
it would have been rated R. Oh my gosh, it would have been rated R with.
You
got a little,
yeah.
You got a little shark down there yourself.
I know he like he like jumped up on me and like scratched me. I was like, shoot. It would have been rated R with Eli Roth. Probably.
Oh yeah, there would have been so much unnecessary blood everywhere.
But I wanted to say that to say, like, I'm glad that they didn't give up, like after 19, like despite it being like almost 20 years now comparatively to today, they still kept strong.
Gibson's not having,
or actually almost 30 years. My bad.
Yeah,
almost 30 years now.
I think it also came out at the right time with the CGI the way it was, because that Megalodon looked pretty decent. I think having it developed back in like the 90s, we would have ended up with something, like the Shadow People from
or like Jaws 3D.
Yeah.
The worst Jaws movie. But tell us what you think, audience. Have you seen the Meg? Have you seen the sequel? Have you seen both? What did you think about it?
If you haven't seen the first one, you have until April 22nd on Netflix.
This is true. So
they told me multiple times.
I mean, by the time this comes out, it'll be probably April 19th. So you'll only have like 3 days.
I will do my
Actually, no, I'm sorry. It'll be April 12th or something like that. So
you'll get it out when you get it out. Look, I got a lot of things going. I'm trying my best. I am doing my best.
But you'll hopefully you'll see it before April 22nd, and you'll have time to watch the Meg. But yeah, socials. Jonathan, where can people find you and Gibson?
Yes, you can find us at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. You can also follow us, The First Ones to Die, at The First Ones to Die. You can email us firstonestodie@gmail.com. And if
Gibson's trying to get his snack on too, he's like, I'm gonna eat your face. Nom nom nom.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a like and subscribe and comment below. And if you're listening to us on audio, please give us 5 stars, a rating, and review. We would appreciate that very much. Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram and on TikTok, as well as the podcast TikTok, The First Ones to Die, where I show little clips of the episodes we have done, things we may do, and just little reviews for myself because I get bored and I just like to watch the most random things. Maybe next one I'll watch have you guys join in on one of the ocean documentaries I'm watching. I do not watch deep sea documentaries anymore when I'm high because I did that one time. I did have a couple edibles and that just freaked me out so much. Those deep sea creatures, man, you should not be watching them when you're high. It is.
There's a fish with hands. That was in one documentary I saw about the deep sea. It's like it walked on the surface of the ocean and it had hands, or what looked like hands.
There's some that's like, it's like a tube of just like, it looks like gel, and all of those things have little stingers. It's like a bunch of them. Ocean's dangerous, man. Anyway. Come join me there. What about you, Jerome? Where are we finding you?
You can find me at Not Jerome Rent on Instagram, and also thinking of the YouTube channel. Tune on in to get some extra content that you cannot get anywhere else on the audio streaming platform. Stuff like mini reviews, book reviews, gaming content. I just uploaded another part of Monster Prom 2, or I believe it's Monster Camp. So, and part 5 and 6 are coming. They're in the works right now, so that'll be coming out soon. So if you want to check that out, check out some of our gaming content, go on over to the YouTube channel. But we have so many reviews coming as well. Just finished filming the Avatar, The Last Airbender mini review. That's going to be coming out soon, the live action show, and going to do one for The Gentleman as well. So that'll be coming out eventually as well. So you got some stuff to be looking forward to on the YouTube, and we're working on some extra content this year. So do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss nothing. And also, if you like a video, like it. Go ahead and hit that like button. Or if you don't like it, just leave, because we don't want that negative energy out here. We don't want no dislike buttons clicked on these videos, I'll have you know.
I am not emotionally stable enough right now to handle negativity.
But anyway, going over to the YouTube channel at The First Ones to Die to check out anything. If you can't find it that way, go to The First Ones to Die podcast if you need to be a little more specific. And check out some of that extra content, because it is very fun and it's filled with tons of podcast goodness. Next week, tune on in when we talk about Invincible Season 2. It's finally fully out. We've done, the whole show is available on Amazon Prime, and we're going to tell you our thoughts on the entire new season, the little gap in between, all that good stuff. So if you want to hear what we have to say, you're going to want to tune into that next episode to hear what we have to say about that.
But heads up, it'll only be me and Jerome, because Jonathan will be at Coachella.
That's
Leaving
right.
us for a little vacay. That's fine.
I'll report back. And I'll also watch Invincible, because I do want to watch season 2.
Yeah. But until then, have a good night.
And audience, don't forget to wish Alex a happy birthday.
This is true. We'll probably still mention it on the next episode as well. But dude, I wish a happy early, and I guess by the time this comes out, happy late birthday.
Happy belated
for
birthday.
you, the audience. But happy birthday to Alex. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but we will celebrate in some way, shape, or form.
I'll think of something. Lauren mentioned about going out to dinner, which one may be nice. So something simple with enough arm room. But
I'll be there in spirit.
we just gotta get a stick with your face on it. I don't know how weird that'll be, bringing it into restaurants and places.
An iPad where we can actually Zoom call, and then he'll be on the iPad there, and then you could pretend to eat. We'll put a spoon up to the screen, and then you just go yum 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 yum.
Or you could just eat your
like that.
Or for the times he can't be on Zoom, we should make a Jonathan puppet Jonathan.
Ooh.
That just seems creepy. Then people will start thinking we honestly think this puppet is a real person.
I'm more worried about it accidentally sloping into racist.
That's what.
Because it's a puppet and it's a black man, and it's just how easily that can turn into okay, all right, one more word, you're getting a little close there, type of deal.
Don't try to make it look realistic. Just make it like a cartoon version of me.
Wouldn't a cartoon word
be worse?
Kind of worse. Yeah, cartoon ones make
not
everything about you worse.
As long as it don't look like a Sambo puppet or something. I feel like we'll be fine.
So thank you for watching this episode, everybody. Have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Stop bugging me.
Was that Gibson?
He keeps jumping up on me.
That's Boobo. He does the same thing when I'm around. I'm just okay, can you let me do anything? Go away.
Look. Wait, hold on.
No, Cheddar's wandering around the apartment acting like I've ignored him this whole day. Oh. I tell Cheddar is the moment I sit at the computer, he's meowing, going back and forth I'm all alone. Nobody loves me. I didn't spend an hour just laying down with him. Suddenly, woe is me. I've forgotten him.
Go on over to the YouTube channel at The First Ones to Die to see all the fun stuff we got going on here, like mini reviews, book reviews, gaming videos, vlogs, all types of stuff.
Please follow us at The First Ones to Die everywhere. Go ahead and give us a like and subscribe.